And then I'm just gonna go ahead and pencil in where I'm gonna glue in the covers onto my book cloth. And these are cut out, as you guys can see, probably exactly on both sides, along with about 1/8. You kind of did it just according to how the thickness of what I want to overlap. So, but you could do the 1/8 on one side, on both sides, and cut them through on the spine. And for the middle of your hardcover is just the thickness of the spine. I'll show you how to lay that out. So I'm just going to go ahead and try to line this up with this grid just so I can have a good idea of how.
And is that paper or fabric?
Oh, this is book cloth. I painted book cloth just so it could not be this color. So, but yeah, it's just book cloth and it's going to be glued on.
Is it acrylic paint?
Mm-hmm.
Or, okay.
And they sell that at Paper Arts.
Yeah, they do.
The book cloth.
Yeah, book cloth, Paper Arts on Peak Street.
And how expensive is the
In
book
Dallas,
cloth
Texas.
compared to doing your other technique?
It's a little bit more pricier than the fabric because
Okay.
you buy 1 yard of book cloth. I think it's a good, I want to say like $12. But I would go and get scraps from her. She would sell it for a couple dollars, and scraps would be like anything as big as this to half the size of this, and she'd like, okay, $2 or $3 or whatever. But that's where I would get most of my book cloth. I'm just gonna go ahead and put this in. And on these, you can actually cut them out for square, just so it could be a little bit more even. But here, I'm just gonna line this up and make sure I have my ruler. And just my triangle so I can have it straight just all the way through. But you can cut out exactly the exact measurements for your book cloth, where this lines up where it's 1 inch apart all the way around, and just it comes out a little bit more gridded. But since this is like this, I'm just gonna go ahead and do that. And here I usually do about 1/8 of an inch. You're really supposed to do your binder's board thickness, two binder's board thickness, that through, because of how much it overlaps when you fold it in. But it all depends on how thick your binder's board is.
And if you did it a little bit bigger, would it become floppy?
No, you just have to make sure you glue it in. I think this would just stick out a little bit more, because you can make it where this is a little bit wider and just glue it in.
And you're drawing the template down.
Yeah, just so I know where to glue. And you can always line everything up once you glue it down. Just adjust it. Those are our 2 parts. I'm going to glue this. And it's the same way as gluing the other covers on, just to make sure it's all the way even, because if not you will get bubbles. And with this glue, you kind of have to act a little bit fast because it will dry out, and that can cause some problems. of just pushing out all the glue from the center, just out in all directions. Okay. So I'm going to glue the other one the same way. There's a small little piece that goes for the spine.
You put the ruler down so it keeps it nice and straight.
Yeah, but if you cut out everything in a square or two square and you draw it out, you kind of don't have to do it that way, but just...
It's a good habit.
Yeah. I think I've done it too many times where I don't need to even measure it out. It'll still be fine. So just find where it's at, which is right here. And then just try to catch that groove. Just press that in. And then we'll do the last one. Pour some more.
You did that because it was drying out?
Yeah, I just ran out.
Oh, right.
Yeah. But you want to have enough. You don't want it to be too dry. I'm just going to do the same thing again.
And you can see the embossment from that board when you glue it down. So what if you wanted to put like a texture on your cover? Could you put like a little piece of like say if you wanted a symbol on there, could you do a stencil? Could you cut out a little stencil and glue it down?
You can, or you can even run these through the press, the binder sports, because they're so
Malleable.
yeah, you could put in whatever, like a linoleum or something that'll make a relief, and run it through the press, and it'll make the indentation. And when you put the book cloth over it, you can actually get that image out.
Oh, that's nice, because I love books with that.
Yeah. So I'll give you.
That have
just something to think about. And I use a lot of like stencil stickers that I just put on there with words spelled out, and it will come through with the book cloth. And I'm just going to trim this down just a bit, just so, well, I really don't need to. And I'm going to do the same thing as the cuts that I did for the other one. And if you did have this all squared, the cuts, it would look different.
Say that again.
If it was all squared, the cuts would look a little bit more prettier than this when I'm folding them. But it's all going to be the same. It's going to be covered with the block. Okay, and I'm just going to glue back in the glue over the flaps of the book cloth that are left.
Just like you did with the snake book.
And you want to do the same thing of putting enough glue. Just going to push or pull it pretty tight. And just do the same thing with the bone folder. Just kind of press out that glue. And just push it towards the middle of the block of the cover.